radius, diameter, circumference, and pi. Circles are one of the most fundamental shapes in the universe, so we should know how to accurately measure them. In this video, we will be learning about 3 circle measurements: radius, diameter, and circumference. We will also be discussing the number pi, which can be used to find these measurements. Let's begin with radius. Radius is the distance, go away. There we go. Radius is the distance from any point on the circle to the center. We've got one here and one here. All points on the circle are equidistant from the center point. So if this radius has a measure of 3 centimeters, this radius is also going to be 3 centimeters because they are all equidistant from that center point. Next we have diameter. Diameter is the measure of the width of the circle. So you can find it by cutting the circle in half at its widest point. These 2 lines are the diameter of the circle. However, this line is not, because it does not cut through the circle at the center, and it does not properly show the width of the circle. It only shows the width of this part of the circle. Let's talk about the formula for diameter. So diameter is 2r. So r stands for radius, so diameter is 2 times the radius. So let's say the radius for this segment is 3. So we're going to substitute 3 for r, and do diameter is going to be equal to 2 times 3. So diameter is going to be 6, because 2 times 3 is 6. And there we go. Next, let's look at circumference. Circumference is the distance around the circle. Before we delve into the formula for circumference, we first need to discuss pi. Unfortunately, not this kind of pi, although it's delicious. We're going to discuss the number pi. So pi is 3.14159, but then it just keeps going, so it's not really useful or easy to write into an equation. So it is referred to by the Greek letter pi. It is the circumference, it's the ratio of the circumference to the diameter, and it can also be used for many other functions in geometry. So pi can be used in the circumference formula because it is the circumference formula is pi times diameter. So when I write this, sometimes in an equation, pi will be given the value of 3.14, which is the first 3 digits of the number. So let's say the diameter in this case is 4, so that's going to be the diameter. So I would take 4 times 3.14, which would be 12.56. Now a simpler way to do this would just be to say 4 pi, which is the same thing. It's just without this assumption that pi is 3.14, which is only in certain equations. So now let's move on. We're going to apply this, what we've learned here, to a real-world problem. So this is a sport that I do. It's called synchronized skating, and this is a circle element. And circles are very fundamental to synchro, as you might be able to guess from the video. Alright, so we are going to go away. There we go. What we want to know is, what is the circumference of this inner circle? So we're given that the radius of the circle is 7 feet. So the distance from the center of the circle to one of the points on the circle is 7 feet. So I know that circumference, the formula for circumference, is pi times diameter, but I'm only given the radius, so this doesn't completely help me, but I know that the diameter is 2 times radius. So I can substitute this in for diameter, and this can be written C for circumference equals pi times 2 times radius, just substituting this in. So now I can substitute 7 in for the radius, and that gives us circumference equals C 2 times 2 times 7. So let's do this 2 times 7 part. That's going to give us circumference equals pi 14, which will be our answer. So just to recap this whole lesson, we have radius, diameter, and circumference. Radius is the distance from the center of the circle to any point on the circle, and all of those points are an equidistant length. Diameter is the width of the circle. It needs to cut right through the center in order to be the width. And circumference is the distance around the circle, and we can use pi, which is a big magical number to find circumference. And that is that.